y'all raced on dirt forever together or against each other in different, at different times in your careers. You end up going into stock cars and now, made your way all the way to the Cup Series. I know why you race cars and I know why you compete, but why do you want to start a series? Tell me everything from how the conversations even started about, hey, could we do this? Why should we do this? To where you are today.
Yeah, I mean, that's a loaded question and a great question. I've been around dirt tracks for quite a while now, doing the World of Outlaw Tour, 10 seasons. So, it's a little awkward to kind of step out and be a series owner, being a driver for so long. But, Kyle has a really unique ability to, draw fans from all facets to sprint car racing. And, streaming is a big part of the world now of racing and owning the series. And, Kyle presented me with an opportunity, a unique opportunity to try something out, a midweek series, something that could get him some more races, but also helps the local tracks. Because to have Kyle Larson come to a track and race, it brings way more eyes, it brings way more fans. And obviously his willingness to kind of do that all the time is very unique, and it created an opportunity for me as kind of a entrepreneur maybe, or like someone on the business side, maybe towards the end of my driving career, that it was a no-brainer for me to kind of partner up with him and be that side of the business.
Who brought the idea to who?
So it's kind of, well, you've always talked about, like, you need to have a series that's solely based around me or whatever, and I didn't really want that. I wanted to help out the other racers, really. And I got to really, my eyes opened to starting this deal when I started racing the late model. And Flow Racing has their Tuesday night late model series, and pays 20-some thousand to win every Tuesday. And I was like, man, why wouldn't that work in sprint cars? The places are packed every week that I would run. And there's just a lot. There wasn't much midweek racing in sprint cars, and I just felt it was a good opportunity for others to race more, race, make money. The owners, make money, all of that. So it's gone really well. I've enjoyed it. Obviously, when we get great crowds like this, it's just great for all the teams, with the merchandise and all that. And we got like 60 cars in the pit area to race for 50 grand on a Tuesday, which is crazy. So it's been great.
So essentially, Kyle, instead of getting paid to show up, he brings the fans in and races for the purse. So it's great for the racers, it's great for the fans, and obviously it's drawn a ton of new interest into the sport.
I really just wanted to kind of elevate not only just the midweek stuff, but I was hoping this would add pressure to the weekend shows to raise their purses as well. So I think we've seen a big step in that this year, and I think it's going to continue forward. So I would say so far it's been successful.
So entering into ownership of a series comes with a lot of challenges. What's been probably the most surprising or most difficult thing to navigate that you didn't? Owning the Cars Tour in North Carolina, there's so many people to please. Not now, when you're a racer, you show up and you worry about your own people, but now you're handling all of the other competitors have concerns. Your tech folks have concerns. The track, the promoters, they have concerns. So what's been the biggest challenge?
I think that managing expectations for racers and being new, making some mistakes along the way, making some people mad in the pit area, and not being organized when we had a bigger crowd than we were expecting at the ticket office, and just trying to navigate each and every weekend, learning from our mistakes. But quite a few things have happened where I think each show we've gotten better, but it's definitely a challenge starting from square one with a small team. We're just a small group of people that come out and try to run these shows on Tuesday night. So that's been a challenge booking shows. Each promoter is different, each racetrack operator is different. So there's just a lot of people involved in a lot of different relationships that you have to try to navigate to keep everybody happy across the board. Race teams, racetracks, everybody alike.
What is the probably the most difficult thing about midweek races? Is that not only for the fans, but also, the crew guys and everybody, that these are blue collar people. They have jobs, they have responsibilities outside of what they do at the racetrack. And so, having a midweek race, how do you navigate those type of challenges?
Well, some of the things that have been really good for the industry is adding some things that are traveling from race to race. We're able to add a midweek show, and a lot of these guys do make a living out here racing, but but a lot of them don't, and so that is a challenge. Knowing who's going to come to the race, which guys. So being strategic how we schedule the races is a key element. Fans, I think on a Tuesday night it's always a challenge with the weather. With the streaming service now, they got to go to work or kids got to go to school, so you never know what your crowds are going to be like. So those are probably the two biggest challenges. It's just we're offering up big money, so we're trying to make sure we have big crowds and big car counts and put on next level type shows here.
Knowing how much anxiety you have over different things like this, it's making me even a little nervous, because this is a pretty ambitious venture, right? Like, you started a whole series, and now y'all got that similarities. Now here's my question for you guys. I know you've been racing together for a long time, but had you guys ever been in business together? Have y'all been business partners on anything? And if so, I want to know what you guys think of each other as business partners.
That's a good question. We did, what started this series probably a little bit too was that we took over a racetrack, both of our home track in California, Silver Dollar Speedway. I've always been ambitious to take that track over and rebuild one of the events. The Gold Cup was always a really big event on the West Coast, and it's kind of died off. So we were able to kind of team up him, myself, and another partner, Colby Copeland, and with some other great help out there and our families, and that was what kind of started our first business endeavor. He more helped on the likeness side and coming out and supporting, but that was our first kind of thing that we did together. And I can tell you, a racetrack is one of the hardest things to ever do. To own a racetrack or run a racetrack is it's like 5 or 6 businesses in one. So honestly, the series came second, and that was actually a little bit less of a challenge, just because the racetrack was, taught me so many lessons that I kind of knew what I was getting into. And then it also helped me look at, when I'm booking races and going to a racetrack, it helped me look at it from a promoter's, lens. And that helps when you come to these places, knowing all the challenges of owning a racetrack.
So owning the track was tougher?
Owning the track is tougher so far. Obviously, our series is growing, and it's young, and we've only done, 10 races. So I'm sure there's many growing pains and many challenges ahead of us, but night in and night out, owning a racetrack is a more challenging business. It's harder to make money. It's it's the ticketing, the staff, it's ordering the beers, having a restaurant, which is your food concessions. It's having equipment work on the racetrack. It's having officials. It's having the payout ready. It's having so many different things, and we just dove into it. So those were some good lessons to be learned before doing a series, and I think it's really helped us through this first year with the challenges, for sure.
So you talk about having these grand ideas. What's next? What are some of the things I think you guys can improve on? But what are some of the big brain ideas that you've never seen at a race like this that you want to create?
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to tell all our secrets, but we definitely have some good ideas, I think. I think efficiency in the shows could be better.
So to that point, that's all I hear about High Limit is how well run the show is. And I think you guys, I think listening to y'all talk about it, that was a main point when y'all built this series, was to make it quick and sufficient. And so that's one of the things that everybody claims is one of the highlights of the series.
Yeah, I mean, that's great that we're getting that type of feedback. I mean, it's a new challenge each and every night that you come to the racetrack, but it's just trying to do a little bit of everything better. It's trying to, elevate the purses. It's, trying to build more events. It's more than just a race. There's camping or concerts or whatever it may be. It's, the efficiency of the show. So when a new fan does come, they don't get disengaged, halfway through the night, or you bring little kids out and they're asleep in their dad's arms at 10 o'clock on a cold night. It's just doing everything a little bit better. It's thinking about you fans. It's it's thinking about the product that we're putting out and more consistently good, because right now it's a little bit inconsistent, and you sometimes don't know what you're going to see based off the track conditions or based off of what support classes are there or who's running the show. So, our brand, we want to be associated with efficiency, with a high quality product and something that maybe has never been seen before on a consistent basis.
What has the most positive effect on your car counts? Like, what is the one thing that y'all try to do to create, the best car count? Is it all about the purse? What is the most effective thing?
I would say a couple. To purse and who's running your show, location, middle of the week obviously helps the car count because you're not really competing against anything else. So we definitely learned some stuff about the middle of the week shows that we maybe didn't anticipate, but much higher car counts than we were anticipating. The streaming numbers are better, viewership's higher because you're not competing against anything on a weekend. So definitely the midweek thing, there's been some great things about it. But yeah, the car count I think gets affected by just location. There's pockets of sprint cars across the country that there's areas. Central Pennsylvania is very popular.
Yeah.
Over here they have a good local contingency of cars, and so some of that, like if we try to go too far west or too far south, you could run into way less cars available.
So what is the geographic footprint?
It's nationwide, but there's just places that are like late model country, and then there's
like Carolina. We probably couldn't have a race with 35 cars.
We used to go to Charlotte in May, right before the Coke 600, and there'd be like 18 cars.
No kidding.
And probably 1,200 fans.
Yeah.
So how do you determine? When you create the series, you reach out to racetracks, you create partnerships. Now that people are starting to see the success of the series and how well you guys are doing, how good your streaming numbers are, what has been the response from other racetracks that aren't on the series that want to be there?
Extremely high. The phone gets really busy now. Now that we've kind of showcased our product and people have seen how beneficial it has been for local dirt tracks in other places, and those promoters want big shows. That's what keeps these racetracks alive, is all these fans coming out on a Tuesday night and really elevating the racetrack, because these tracks they're running year round, but there's only a few nights a year that they can actually make this type of money or be profitable to keep them running. So we're definitely getting a lot of great feedback, and we're trying to be really strategic on how we book shows, because you don't want to oversaturate any markets. You definitely want to keep the fans wanting to see us. We don't want to come here 10 times and then they're burnt out, and then or we're racing right around the corner and then it hurts both shows. So there's a lot of strategy to how we book them, and obviously Lernerville here, this is a hotbed sprint car place, and they haven't had a really big sprint car race in a few years, and obviously Kyle coming, you coming, the high limit series, it's there's a lot of excitement about around tonight.
Dale and I were talking on the way in, and we were wondering, like some of the whys. Why Lernerville? All we had to do was pull in this front stretch here, and we got that answered. To be honest with you, this is an amazing crowd here. These are passionate fans. They ought to be commended for this, for sure. So that we got answered. But can you speak to the passion that you guys feel that we don't need? We haven't figured out in North Carolina yet, but Dale and I are going to be ambassadors for you now. We're going to go back and we're going to say, hey, the guys in Pennsylvania know how to do this right. Just tell us, what is it about this fan base?
Honestly, Kyle could probably answer, because he goes into a lot of late model races and sprint car races. So there's just, dirt racing is a little bit divided. Like, I think there's like a misconception that you can't be a late model fan and a sprint car fan, or you either like NASCAR and you can't like dirt. But like, one thing that Kyle has done really well for the whole industry is he has crossed the fans over. I used to never watch a late model race. I was a lot less engaged with NASCAR. Now I'm a lot more engaged with NASCAR. I hadn't watched a Cars Tour race. I turned on a Cars Tour race because Kyle has that ability and that uniqueness that he makes every race a little bit better. So anytime he's able to do that, it helps. But he knows the fan base, and here's like what late model fans and sprint car fans. I'm a little bit, living in this world, so maybe you could probably speak on what, why it doesn't work in certain areas, or it's just the way it's.
Yeah, I mean, I've never raced a sprint car in the Carolinas, but so I don't know. I don't know why it's not bigger there. But late model racing is huge there. So. But I have seen over the last few years, since I have transitioned to running more late model shows, I do see the crossover, and I love seeing NASCAR shirts at the dirt tracks. Because every night I race a dirt race, I bet 10 fans that come up to me like, "This is my first ever dirt race I've gone to," and that makes me happy, because it makes me feel like I'm doing something positive for the overall broad spectrum of motorsports, growing. And I don't, like Brad said, I don't want there to be a fan that only likes a certain type of category of car. I want racing to just be one, and I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface on getting that. But it's a goal of mine. I feel like it's part of my brand, and what I like to do is just grow racing by racing. So I don't know what, maybe we just have to start scheduling high limit races in the Carolinas
There we
to
go.
Get the fans. There's some amazing racetracks in the Southeast.
Well, if Dale will come, we will book
Oh.
it.
I mean, that
There we
late
go.
model show we ran at Bulls Gap before Bristol is huge. I ran it like Tazewell is an amazing track. The sprint car around there would be insane. We would probably turn in low 9-second laps around there. So there's some awesome places, and I think if late model fans would just come and experience it and see the speed and the craziness, the danger of it, I think that they would fall in love with it, just like I fell in love with late model racing, because it's just a different style, different form, and you just got to give it a chance.